Hello, welcome to my family. In this particular video, we are going to discuss the concept of Samprapti. In the last video, we have discussed the definition of Samprapti, its meaning. In this particular video, we are going to discuss the concept of Dushta Dosha. When you think about the concept of Dushta Dosha, we need to know about the two terms, that is Dushta and Dosha. When you say about the dosha, so in the Ayurveda textbooks, this will mention different meanings. That is, dosha iti dosha, the ones which are having the tendency to vitiate the body. That is, sharira dushanat dosha, that is termed as dosha. According to some other aspect, dushanti pranaha shariram cheti dosha, the ones which are having the tendency to vitiate the body and mind, that is being termed as dosha. प्रकृत्यारंभकृत्ये सति स्वातंत्र्येण दृष्टिकर्तृत्वं दोषत्वम्. So that means the ones which are having the tendency to vitiate the body, mind, or both from the beginning itself, that is being termed as dosha. In other words, they are doing their functions normally in the body. For example, movement of the food from the mouth to anus, it is a normal tendency. It is a functioning of Vata dosha. The transformation of macromolecules into micromolecules is a form of the functioning of Pitta dosha. And bodybuilding aspect, that is the nutrients support or nourishing the body by the various nutrients, that is being mainly functioning of the Kapha dosha as such. So that means if they are not doing their functions at their optimum level, then we are going to say that is dushana is happening into the body. The abnormal functioning of this particular dosha, that is being termed as roga. So Ashtanga Hridaya says rogasti dosha vaishamyam, dosha samyam arogata. So here the word doshana refers to vatadina. So that is vata, pitta or kapha. They are the sharirika dosha plus manasika dosha, that is rajas and tamas. So they are considered to be doshana. Vaishamyam refers to swapramana ekasya dvayoho trayana va bhukti shayova. So the term Vaishamya refers to the presence of abnormal quantity of either one dosha or two dosha or three dosha, either in the increased quantity or in the decreased quantity, which are responsible for Rujana Karatva. So that any kind of the discomfort present inside the body, that is being termed as dosha. That is being termed as roga. Vaishamyam Vishamata Sarupachaya. So that means the abnormal proportion of these dosha, that is being termed as Vaishamya. So that means when there is the abnormal amount of abnormal proportions of either Sharirika dosha or Manasika dosha in their decreased quantity or in their increased quantity, that is being termed as roga. Doshanam samyam sarupad aprachiti samabhavu arogata arogyam. So that means if they are doing their normal functions, if they are doing their functions in their normal proportions, that is being termed as swasthya or arogata, or absence of the disease itself. So when you think about the Tridosha aspect, that is being present for each and every cell. So in that particular sense, if there is any movement is happening inside the cell, that is being termed as happening due to Vata dosha. The movement of the nutrient from the cell membrane to nucleus, or the movement of the vacuoles from the cell to the exterior, or movement of the proteins from one part to the other part, movement of the lysosomes from the cell to the exterior, movement of the hormones from the cell membrane to the inside the cell, or ATP formation, that is the movement of the ATP molecule from one part to the other part, that is being termed as the functioning of Vata dosha. Any transformation of one form to the another, that is the functioning of Pitta dosha. That means the transformation from macromolecules to micromolecules. This is a functioning of Pitta dosha. So transformation of the stored energy into the ATP, that is a functioning of Pitta dosha. So any compact structure, that is been termed to be the functioning of Kapha dosha. So if you are looking into the cell and Pitta dosha, so that means for every system there may be a possibility of the understanding of Pitta dosha itself. For example, let us take the alimentary canal. So the movement of the macromolecules from the mouth to the esophagus, from there to the stomach, from there to the small intestine, from there to the large intestine, from there to the exterior, that is a functioning of Vata dosha. The functioning of the transformation of macromolecules in the stomach to intermediate molecules, and the transformation of macromolecules and intermediate molecules into micromolecules in the small intestine, and this is considered to be the function of Pitta dosha. Any compact structure, so that is the secretion of mucus present in the alimentary canal, which actually protects the body, that is the intestinal lumen, that is functioning of Kapha dosha. Whenever if you are learning the concept of Tridosha, etc., we have to observe the nature itself. So that means we have to study the normal physiology aspect. So when you are studying this, then altered physiology learning will be easy. And when you are able to learn these altered physiology, then restoring the altered physiology will be very, very easy. As far as Tridosha in human body, that's what we have discussed earlier. So the whole human body is composed of multiple systems: digestive system, respiratory system, then cardiovascular system, nervous system, then urinary system, etc. So when you look into the functioning of all these, we can able to analyze the normal functions happening in these different systems in terms of dosha. So that means whenever if you see there are two images, that is the human body image. This is a functioning image of the machine. Machine will be also having the same type. Multiple systems, they will be having the in that particular machine. So which they are functioning at that optimum level. In the same way, we can able to observe the different systems in the human body. As far as meaning of Dushta dosha is concerned, we are knowing that the normal movement of the food is happening in the small intestine. That is, food will be staying in the small intestine will be up to 6 hours. If the food is remaining in the small intestine up to 8 or 10 hours, then it is considered to be Dushta dosha itself. If the movement of if the stasis of the food will be happening in the small intestine up to 2 hours, then it is considered to be abnormal functioning itself. So that means increased Vata dosha we are going to predict in case of the stasis of the food in the small intestine will be up to 2 hours. So in this way, abnormal functioning of Vata dosha can be predicted. So regarding the burning sensation in the epigastrium, is indicative of increase of Pitta dosha in the body. Whereas swelling in the knee joint, that is indicative of a Kapha dosha. Inability to cope up with the mental stress happening at the office and getting irritated at home with family members or children can be predicted with Rajo dosha affliction. Inability to cope with the mental stress at the office, getting lonely at the place, at the office or at the home, we can even say there is a possibility of Tamama dosha affliction. In this way, Dushta dosha can be understood. Regarding the application of Dushta dosha, as we have discussed earlier, pain in the ankle joint or pain in the abdominal region, we can able to say there is a Vata dosha affliction. Let us say the presenting complaint of cough itself. If it is dry cough, then we are going to say there is a Vata dosha affliction. When the person is having the cup with white colored sputum, then we are going to say there is a Kapha dosha affliction. And cup with yellowish sputum, then we are going to say there is a possibility of a Pitta dosha affliction. Redness of the skin can be predicted. So we can able to predict there is a possibility of Pitta dosha affliction. Swelling in the periorbital region, we are going to say there is a possibility of Kapha dosha affection. Very hard stool passage. So we are going to say there is a Vata dosha affection. Blackish discoloration of the skin. Then we are going to say there is a Vata dosha affection. Emaciation, that is the emaciation of the body. We are going to say there is a Vata dosha affection. So like this. When you are going to learn, let us have the learning with the example of timeline. Suppose if the person is having the history of 12 days. In the day 1, he is having the Akshara with Katugasa substances intake. So that means there is a possibility of either Pitta dosha or Vata dosha increase in the body. So he is consuming that particular Katurasa continuously for 9 days. Then we are going to say there is a possibility of the Pitta dosha as well as Vata dosha increase in the body. In the 10th day, he started with the running for 2 kilometers or so, or walking for 2 kilometers or so. This is specifically responsible for the increase of the Vata dosha in the body, but increase of Vata dosha will be specifically observed in the lower limbs. So this is the second Nidana that we are going to say. And 12th day, he is actually traveling to a distant place in the, let us say, the public transport vehicle, the bus or so. He is actually suppressing the urge of defecation. In this particular occasion, there is a possibility of increase of Vata dosha in the body. In the first instance, he will be having the Vata dosha initiation specifically related to Ahara, whereas in the second instance, he is having the Vata dosha increase specifically related to the Vihara itself. The third instance, again, Vata dosha increase in the different Nidana. So, in a sense, the summary of this particular example is you have to try to identify the patterns happening inside the patient. Patterns in the sense that is repeatedly occurring observations. If the person is repeatedly following the Katurasa Ahara Sevana, there is a possibility of increase of either Pitta or Vata dosha increase. If the person is specifically consuming Amla Rasa itself, then there is a possibility of Pitta dosha increase. If the person is consuming Pitta, that is the sour, that is the Amla Rasa, that is the sour buttermilk, added with salt and pepper, etc., then there is a possibility of Pitta dosha increase to the maximum extent rather than Vata or Kapha dosha. In this way, we have to identify the actual patterns happening inside the patient. Why? What are the things one should know to identify the Dushta Dosha? We have to identify whether the dosha are in the normal state or abnormal state. So that means textbook says several functions of normalcy and abnormalcy. For Vata dosha, it is mentioned that that is the उत्साहोच्छ्वासनिश्वास तेषामेकप्रवर्तने सम्यक् गत्या च धातूनां क्षाणं पाठवेन for Vata dosha it is mentioned. Pittam Pakyushnadarshane Chitruchi Prabha Midadhishavidanamardabai Tadosha. Stirattu Stigdatu Sandhibandakshamanadini for Kapadosha. As far as abnormal functioning of Vata dosha is concerned, Pruddhasti Kurute Nilaha Karsha Karshnushna Kamitva Kampana Shakrigraha Balanidrindriya Kamsha Rapa Brahmadinata Lingam Shine Nilendasya Sadhuvalpam Bashupekam Sanjam Stakashna Vidyuktamaya Sabhava Shaya Lakshana for Vata dosha. Itta Buchaya Pita Viputra Nitra Tvakshudridaha Vidradaha Pittam Pitte Mandu Analashita Brahmahani. As far as Kapadosha is concerned, Sheshma Agnisadana Pisekalasya Gaurabam Swaitya Shaitya Shathangatvam Swasa Kasati Nidrada. That is Tase Brahma Sheshma Shayanam Shunyatvam Vidravaha Shatha Sandhita. That is normal and abnormal functioning of Vata doshas or the dosha are concerned. Whether they are present in their normal sites or not, or whether they are present in their normal proportions or not, has to be identified. For Vata dosha, it is mentioned that Patma Shayapati Sakti, Shrutrasti Sparshan Indriya, Sanam Vata Chittatrapi Pakwadhanam Visheshata. That is about the Vata dosha normal sites. So, like that, we have to identify them. Whether the dosha are present in the Koshtha or Shakha or Brahmasti Sandhi, whether the abnormal dosha or pathogens are being present, whether they are present in the alimentary canal, or whether they are present in the intravascular compartment, or whether they are present in the interstitial compartment, or whether they are present in the intracellular compartment, that has to be identified. Whether the dosha are present in the Chaya stage, or Prakopa stage, or Prasara stage, or Sanasamchaya stage, or Vyakta or Veda stage has to be identified. Whether the dosha are in the Sama stage or Nirama stage has to be identified, wherein specific lakshanas are being mentioned. That is, Vayu Sam Vibandha Sada Tandrantra Kujanai, Vedana Shukan Stude, Ramashovangani Pidayat, Tere Dugavachat, Linahadi Putukokshan, Nehate Kutumaku Surami Bodai Nashi. This is indicative of Sama Vata stage. Durganam Hritam Shah, Uttamam Lasiram Guru, Amlika Kanta Dugdaha, Karam Samam Hanidishay. This is indicative of Sama Pitta stage. Then Avila Tantulasthana Kantadesha Vatistate, Samu Balasidirgan Rakshudukara Vikantagrat. This is indicative of Sama Kappa stage. Samsrishta Megam dosha is the Nestam of Swavasidati, Purusham Prashadurgandi Chilam Chana Samyakam, wherein despite the Sama has gone beyond the Sama Vata stage. This can be identified. The other things one should know regarding the dosha prakopa karana and dosha kshaya karana. Vyayama, Dapatarpana, Prapatana, Dhanga, Kshaya, Jagara, Vigano, Udharana, Tishucha, Titra, Rukshakshoba Kashatik, Patukere, Prokopum, Ayu, Vadidhara, Parinati, Chanya, Varanya, Vicha. Vata prakopa karana. Katvam Rosuna, Lavana Kruda, Masa, Samprati, Dadi Sura Shutara Naladi. Uttayiride Bhojane, Hodi Krishna Sati Pranina, Mathani, the Artharaksime, Uttam Protopum Rayo, Uttapratopakara. Guru Madura take Shokshi, Ramade, the Dinidra, Tushina Patana Kale, Station, Samprato, Abodi, Divasado, Uttamatre was in Protopakara. As for a dosha Udiksha election we have discussed earlier, regarding the dosha Prakopa Karma, Sram Savyasa Vedaswama Sadar Uttota Vedanam. Sanganga Banga Sampuja, Vakarshana Karshana, Kampa Parishi Socially, Shusha Spandana Vetanam, Kampa Kashayasana, Varna Shavu, Armudura, Garmani Vayo, Mata Prakopa Karma, Pittasidahara Ushpakita, Suda Kriya, Suti for Satanam, Uchanam Mada, Tatokamlavarsovaran, Panduraran Vartita, Shleshmana, that is the Prakopakarma. Shleshmana Snehakatinni, Kandushitattaguru, Bandhopale Pastamiti, Shoka Pati Nitrata, Varnashvetor Soswadi, Lavanau, Chirakarita, the Prakopakarma. So these are the things you should know whenever we want to analyze Dushta, Dosha, and their normal functions and their functions. So the take-home message from today's discussion, they are dosha, they are considered to be the dravya, bioenergies present inside the body, which have the tendency to initiate the bodily functions. That means they are not normally initiated. If any kind of the nidana is being taken, then immediately that will be responsible for the abnormal functioning of dosha itself. That means when the person is having the normal movement happening in the alimentary canal, if the person is taking more amount of the katurasa ahar, that is responsible for the increase in movement to happen inside the alimentary canal. Maybe in the downward direction, moving in the reverse direction. Maybe the person may have diarrhea or maybe the person will have vomiting. If the person is taking more amount of the madhurasa ahar, that is daghi or lassi, etc., there will be a possibility of abnormal increase of kapha dosha in the body. So, in other words, dushta dosha that refers to normal functioning occurring inside the human body due to abnormal dosha, which may be either in the form of decreased or in the form of increased abnormal dosha. Try to localize the abnormal dosha present in the body, whether they are present in the Mahasrotas, whether they are present in the Shakha or whether they are present in the Marmasti Sandhi. Whether these particular dosha are present in the Chaya stage or Prakopa stage, etc., or whether they are present in the Vyaktavastha or Vedavastha as such. And you have to identify whether these particular dosha are present in any particular locality, whether the Vata dosha is present in the Pakvashaya itself or they are present in the Shrotra Indriya or Sparshana Indriya, etc. Dear AD community, that's all for today. What are the major key takeaways from this discussion? Mention in the comment box below. And what is the one video that you would like to hear in this particular channel? Mention in the comment box below. And spread this particular video to maximum number of Ayurveda learners or Roga Nidana learners, Ayurveda diagnostic learners, so that we can make a huge movement out of this particular small message. That's all for today. Something more in the next video.